What is going on? I cannot. There we go. Alright, sorry for the delay. I don't know what was going on there. My Streamlabs was acting a fool. Such a pain. Okay. So, the plan for today, of all things, is to take this box. We're just starting with this box. We've got these boxes over here as well. 3 stacked up over here. And so the job technically is to take this box to start with and organize it amongst this box and the rest of these boxes. Now this is all in alphabetical order. This is mostly B's. B's to D's. Yeah, B's to D's. And so this is mostly B's right here. I think this is all B's maybe. To the C's. This is the rest of my Batmans into the later B's up into Cable. So, and then I made room up here for this box, and then eventually this box and all 4 of these boxes are going to make their way on the shelves as well, because all these boxes are full. So I'm just kind of basically moving comics from one spot to another to make room for all the new stock. And this is all stuff that I've collected in like the past 6 to 9 months and just never put away. But since we're not obviously getting any new comics right now, it's the perfect time for me to organize the stuff that I have waiting to be organized. So anyway, you can't see it. I have a computer down here because I can't see the chat on the camera, so I'm actually watching myself on my computer right here so that I can catch you guys' chat if there tends to be any. So let's see here, starting it out here in this B. Now last stream I spent 3 hours literally going through Batman books. That's what I organized. I had so many Batman books, Detective Comics and the Batman main series, and then like so many individual like mini series and one shots and stuff like that, offshoots, Batman Beyond and stuff like that. So hopefully it won't take me 3 hours to get through one box, because that will be a nightmare. But to tell you the truth, most of the time I was like pulling out comics and talking about the comics as well, so we'll see how it goes. I bought this. This is Battle of the Planets. It's a solo series for the character Princess. I bought it for $1 because I swore that I had issue number 1, but I don't. I don't think so. Battle of the Planets, Thundercats. Then there was like one main series that like Alex Ross did all of the cover artwork for, and just. He does such a killer job. I mostly collected the series because he was doing the artwork on all 12 issues. And so, this is what I thought was Princess number 1. It was actually a Witchblade crossover book. So, I got issue number 2 of a mini-series that I didn't really pay much attention to before, right? Alright. Battle World. I love the Battle World series. Like, I never got really much into the Secret Wars stuff that was out past couple of years. And I know I collected this one for some reason. For some reason, I have this book. I picked this up as a back issue for some reason. I can't remember. I don't think it's a key issue. It's like number 3 of Battle World. Maybe it was all the Wolverines on the cover. I don't know. So here's a pet peeve of mine. Continuation covers, okay? So I love continuation covers. You know, covers that go from one. You know, it's all the same image if you line up like 4 issues together or something like that. The problem is when you got issue 1, okay, which is the start of a big image going this way. But for some reason, I have issue 2, which is a completely random cover, okay, which I kind of like. It's kind of a cute cover. But then 3, 4, and 5 all continue on with the same image that started with issue number 1. So that has been driving me nuts ever since. And so I need to get the continuation cover of Bebop and Rocksteady Destroy Everything. Now, I only bring that up is because there was a series afterwards that I went to my comic book shop and said, look, I'm looking, I need, my OCD can't handle me not having the same covers to continue everything. So these all create, like I'll just show you these last two, these all create like one giant image. So issues 1 through 3, this is 4 and 5, issues 1 through 3 are still an extension of the same image. The artwork is crazy and really kind of creepy and detailed. Like, Bebop's face is just disgusting. But anyway, I'm glad that I got the full continual covers of those. I know it's such a menial thing to be OCD about. Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm watching myself on the computer. That's right, because I have my good camera facing me, and so I can't see the chat because it's behind the phone, so I have to watch myself on the computer. Big Trouble in Little China #1, like, it was $1.25. Why wouldn't I grab it? I didn't even really read it, I don't think, but oh, this was a Loot Crate exclusive. It kind of looks like it's still sealed. It is still sealed. Like, it's still in its, not the Mylar bag, but the bag that it was sealed in. Oh, so this is more recent. So it's in a Mylar bag, in the Mylar bag. Let me see. Okay, cool. I like some of those Loot Crate exclusive comics that come out. They come out with some interesting covers. The first Marvel Star Wars series that came out in like 2015, 2016, I think I have like 8 variant covers of that alone because they were really pushing that out everywhere, and I think like 2 or 3 of them is a Loot Crate exclusive of some sort. So let's see here. Battle of the Planets, Battle World, Bebop and Rocksteady. See here. Big Trouble goes before Bill and Ted. And then, oh, this is actually one of my more favorite series that have come out. It's called Bitter Root. And this is a Mignola cover. Mignola doing covers on series like this just makes sense. His creepiness and the creepy nature of this book in general. So this is a series about a black family in Harlem who is basically a tribe of monster hunters. Like, they have a lot of badassery going on in their household, and of course, you know, you've got like the head of the household, who is the old lady, the grandma of the house, and then all of her kids who she's kind of brought up to be monster hunters as well. One of them is like deformed, kind of like a monster, and so it's a very interesting book. And I thought it was over, and then later issues started coming out. So I guess it's not over. I was happy with the way it kind of ended on a cliffhanger. It seemed like they would have come up with a second series, but it didn't turn out that way. Okay, Bitter Root goes after Bionic Man and Birds of Prey. Blink. There we go. Blink. This Blink series actually is this is Blink from the Age of Apocalypse, and so she had her own series, which then turned into Exiles, which is one of my all-time favorite comics. Exiles. I love the dimension hopping, or the alternate realities of characters. That's why I love the Elseworlds when it comes to DC Universe or the multiversity. And Age of Apocalypse is probably my favorite X-Men related thing of all time. I actually sold off not all of my X-Men books, but most of my X-Men books back in the day, just because Marvel lost me so bad on constantly changing things up. Always starting new series. Hey, what's going on, Joe? Hey, Swan, Gray Man. So Marvel really lost me for a long time when it came to staying on track with their books. And DC's been guilty of the same thing too, constantly rebooting. And I guess when things get back to normal, they're finally going to be back with this G5. Is that what it is? Where they take everything that's ever been in DC history and kind of make it one universe, which is kind of what I thought Rebirth was in a way, but I don't know. But we'll find out, because there's been a lot of shakeups at DC Comics. They just fired one of the co-heads of the company. Thank God Jim Lee's still there. That guy, Jim Lee, if you think about it, that guy has made something for himself. He got rejected 5 times from Marvel and DC Comics. Like, it's like 5 times. On Instagram, he showed his rejection letters. And funnily, I don't think it's a word. Humorously enough, he's from my hometown of St. Louis as well. And look, like, he was 19, getting rejected from comics, and now he is the head of it, if you will, the CEO. Is that what it is? The CEO, the director of sorts. So, people can make big names for themselves, and that's kind of what's been inspiring me lately. Like, you know, Stan Lee. The common thing that I always go to is Stan Lee didn't invent Spider-Man until he was in his 40s, and so I'll be 40 next month. And God knows I've yet to make a name for myself or something, but there's always hope, isn't there? So, yes, Swan. If so, you might want to rewind a little bit and watch me talk about Bitterroot. Yeah, I think you will dig it. Quit Marvel in the 90s. I don't blame you. Like, that, for me, that was the heyday of Marvel, wasn't it though? Like, they hit their peak, and then I don't know, I lost track unless it was like so I apparently love the cheesiest characters in Marvel. One of my artistic heroes, Alex Ross, actually said that one of my favorite heroes of all times is the worst designed, cheesiest 90s character ever created, and that's Cable. And I love Cable. And so my new Cable, I guess you could say, for Marvel Comics is Cosmic Ghost Rider. I love Cosmic Ghost Rider, but you gotta admit, that's such a cheesy character. It really is. Cosmic Ghost Rider. Here he is with the baby Thanos strapped to his chest. It was during that first Cosmic Ghost Rider solo series where he thought he could go back in time and collect baby Thanos and then, like, kill him, but he figured out he can't kill a baby. Like, he had some sort of morals, and so he's like, I'm going to raise Thanos to not be the maniacal sort of despot that we all know. And it turns out that Thanos is always going to be Thanos in some form or another, whether you think you raised him well or not. His misguided attempts at doing good always ended up not in the favor of anybody, that's for sure. So those are the only characters that really caught my attention with Marvel, besides the Star Wars books. I think I collect all the Star Wars books. Dr. Aphra, the Star Wars main series, Darth Vader, Star Wars Adventures, Tales from Vader's Castle. Now you got the new Bounty Hunter series, and then there was Target Vader that had just come out. I was collecting all of those. Later on, I don't think we'll get to it today, but when we finally get to the S's, it's nothing but Star Wars. Anyway, I also have been staying away from the crossovers a lot, like Year of the Villain. I don't care about Year of the Villain, even though it had some cool stuff like the infected Shazam, King Shazam, the Shazam who laughs, if you will. That was the only intriguing character to me, and that's because I like Shazam. Tim, when we were able to reopen for business, remind me about that. Has it available for now? But we can't. Now this isn't the last series that came out. This the Bebop and Rocksteady book is Bebop and Rocksteady Destroy Everything. That's the book that I'm looking for. The last series of Bebop and Rocksteady that came out was Hit the Road, but I'm looking for Destroy Everything. Just to clarify. No, I thought they went to heck X-Force, etc. Oh my God. See, I like X-Force. I always liked X-Force. So maybe that was like one of the main comics that I hung on to for a while in the 90s was because of Cable. And even then, after a while, he kind of became interchangeable with, you know, like he was on the team and not off doing his own thing or whatever. But I think I actually have all of my X-Force books. Like when I say I sold all my X-Men books, I mean the actual X-Men titles themselves. And then maybe some X-Factors and stuff like that. I just, I didn't care for it much anymore. I kind of wish I hadn't sold it, because then I've been going through and as I was talking about those connecting covers earlier, those Jim Lee X-Men, what are they, 1991 series covers, where it's like 2 or 3 heroes per cover and they all line up facing Magneto in the end. Like, I've been going through and recollecting those just because that's, I want all of those congruently. Marvelous Adventures of TNG, you will grow into fame and fortune? Yeah, we'll see about that. We'll see about that. So, as I was talking about crossovers of Year of the Villain, I know what happened in the Batman books because I collected those, but those are like the only DC hero that I am collecting right now. Gretchen's getting Harley Quinn and Catwoman. But I think, and Shazam, I'm getting Shazam. I was getting Action Comics or Superman. I was getting Superman for a little while, but I gave that up. But Batman and Batman titles are the only ones that I'm really like collecting. So, but I had to get this one. I bought this one because I know Black Adam's going to be blowing up soon. Especially, The Rock talked about how later this year, I think it is, the Black Adam movie is going to be going into production. That's if Hollywood gets back on track. Let's see here. Hello, dear. You always had a thing for Cable. Yeah, I love Cable. Cable is like I said, one of my favorites. I think they all went to crap in the 90s. Even titles like Cap, America, X-Men just got annoying to me. Yeah, I never was big into Captain America. I have a couple titles that I have just because the cover is cool. So like one of them is the original Captain America series number 350, and it's him and U.S. Agent like banging shields, on the cover together. And with the new series coming out where what is it? The Falcon and Winter Soldier, there's going to be a new Captain America in there, and it's going to be the guy who's the U.S. agent, and everybody knows that he was kind of a craptastic Captain America, and I think that's kind of going to lead towards the villainy role. Like Captain America is not going to be the most upstanding guy, so I just happened to come across that one, but I don't have a lot of Captain America. I don't have a lot of Avengers. I have the gimmicky Avengers books that came out in the 90s. They had like the silver and gold covers that were like embossed, silver, gold, and red. And that was early 90s. That's kind of when I started really getting into comic books and didn't really know what I was grabbing. I was kind of grabbing everything to see what I could potentially be into. Yeah, the Destroy series came out like a couple of years ago, so I didn't think that they would still have that one. Okay, Black Adam, and then follow that up. Black Badge. I started collecting this Black Badge series because I like Matt Kent, and the artwork seemed interesting, but it didn't grab me. So, Black Adam, Black Badge, and then to follow it up, I should let my wife read these. My wife started reading the Black Canary series that came out in 2015, which I think was part of the New 52 era. It was like the end of the New 52 era, before Rebirth started happening. But I have 3 of the 4 issues of this miniseries, this Black Canary miniseries. I'll hold on to them. She is so far behind in reading her comics. She's trying to get 1 comic a day done, and she has like 10 years worth of comics to read at that point. Okay, so all right, so we got Black Adam, Black Badge, Black Canary, which will go before Blink as well. Alright, so this box is starting to get tight. So the next one is going to be here. Now this is where it starts getting tricky, where I have to start emptying boxes to start making space for boxes so that I can empty boxes later. Because I'm still in the B's, and this goes all the way to the start of cable, which this box is super full as well. So, let's see here. Metallic embossed covers seem like the exact thing. Yeah, they were the exact. Those embossed metal covers were the exact thing that would have attracted to me in the 90s, especially. Okay, so this is where stacks start happening. We're gonna have to start emptying out this right here. Just stacking them over here. Basically, there's a bone number 1. This is like 8th print. This is like 8th print bone number 1. I actually have one right here that is signed. I got it signed by Jeff Smith at a con not that long ago. Now, granted, it's from 1984. Where does it say? 7th printing. It's a 7th printing. But it's the only printing I could afford at the time. But signed by Jeff Smith with a little bone doodle on it, if you will. So that's one of my favorites. And it's not signature series because the con I was at, it was a small con, and they didn't have CGC there, and you can only get signature series books if CGC actually witnesses the signing. But I'm okay with the qualified grade because I was there and I know that this is the book that I got signed. So, and I don't plan on selling it, so I'm okay with that. By the way, on Marvelous Adventures of TNG, the YouTube page, we are on our way to 300 subscribers. We're like, I don't know, almost 280 at this point, but we're on the road to 300, and we're kind of putting together a package, a 300 subscriber giveaway, and one of them is going to be this Dynamic Forces variant. It's even still sealed because I got it from Dynamic Forces, of Secret Wars Wolverine action figure variant. So this is going to be one of the items that we're going to be giving away. So tell people to subscribe, and we're going to figure out a contest at some point in time on of how we want to organize the giveaway for giving away stuff. But we're going to have, this isn't the only thing we're giving away. We'll have a number of things, but this was just here, so I thought I would show you guys. Let's see here. All right, I should get back to putting my actual books away, right? All right. The Bombshells series. This wasn't a bad series. I kind of wish I had continued collecting it, or at least Gretchen had continued collecting it. Got like 15 issues of it or whatever. But this went through, I think this went through from New 52 through Rebirth. Is like, it was an offshoot as it was, so it's not like they had to reboot the series. So it actually has, throughout the series, has 2 different DC logos on it. It has that one where it's peeling away, if you will. Black Condor. Let's see here. I can never do alphabetical. I'd have a nervous breakdown, I swear. Well, that's why I'm procrastinating on putting these away alphabetically. Plus, my OCD can't handle it if I'm going through a series and I find one issue that isn't there because I didn't know, because I didn't organize my books. And I was actually using an app on my phone for a while, CLZ Collector, if you will, and you can like scan the barcodes and stuff like that, but it went through a strange flux of I had to buy it, and then it was free for everybody, and now they're trying to get me to do another subscription to it, and I just lost track. Like, I'm not going to scan all these barcodes. I literally spent hundreds of hours scanning barcodes, and it's just, it's not convenient. Now there's a desktop version as well that it can link to via cloud, but if I was organizing these to sell them so that I could keep a tally on what I'm selling, yeah, that might make sense. But I'm a collector, and I need to. My OCD needs start to finish. It needs 2 of a pair. It needs all 5 of the same cover. You know what I'm saying? Like, otherwise, I just start going insane. So I should probably check out Bombshells too. Yeah, so Bombshells was just a strange like 50s, like 50s kind of take on the characters. I think she would like them. Let's see here. Still emptying space. Alright, so now we're at kind of where we were putting things in. Let's see if we got room for Bone Parish. Alright, Boba Fett. I got this. Man, I don't even remember having this Boba Fett series. This is a one-shot, and then... Huh. I hope Boba Fett makes a comeback in Mandalorian. Like, who else, what other character do we know has spurs? I mean, it could be a new character. I'm assuming spurs weren't just the one thing ever that Boba Fett had distinctive, but at the same time, that's kind of a signature on that character. Like, you see a character walking up with boots, with spurs on his boots. I mean, you kind of get your hopes up a little bit, right? Alright. Okay, so now we are at Bob's Burgers and then Bone Parish, which is a book by Cullen Bunn, who is a fantastic supernatural writer. So Bone Parish, this book is crazy in the fact that people were making a drug out of their loved ones' ashes. They were getting cremated, and then the ashes were being kind of turned into a drug, and then people would take or snort it like cocaine or whatever, and then they would either relive the memories or relive their memories with their loved ones. They would have the memories of their loved ones, or like have like full-on physical contact mentally it's in their head, but their loved one would be right there, you know, with the full personality and everything, because you're absorbing their essence, if you will. That book was screwed. I mean, it was good, but God, like, who would? It's the taboo things like that that really grab your attention. Like, who would have thought about that? And then you think, and you're like, well, that's actually really kind of an ingenious idea for a story. So, but Cullen Bunn, he's a heck of a writer. Him and Joe Hill, I've really been on top of lately with their writing, because they've been prolific on a lot of things. Like, Cullen Bunn was writing like 5 books at a time at one point. He was even doing superhero stuff like Deadpool and X-Men and, you know, Venom, I think. He did Voltron. Two Gun Kid might have spurs, that's right. Yes, so I guarantee you, going through these boxes, I'm going to come across stuff that I'll just be like, when did I get that? I don't ever remember. Why haven't I read this yet? It'll happen. I guarantee you it'll happen. But Two Gun Kid might have spurs. Right. All right. One lone BPRD book. Oh, that's because I had... dang it. Okay. So Bombshells should have gone before Bone Parish. That makes sense when it comes to the alphabet. Bob's Burgers, and then Bone Parish, and then Bombshells, and then before Bone Parish should just come Bone, right? Yeah. Look at this Alex Ross cover. I love it when he takes these cartoon characters and you know, he doesn't like make them lifelike, but his softness in the way he makes the characters. I freaking love that. Actually, one of my favorite Spawn covers of all things is a Alex Ross cover, but that's fair to say that just about anything he will create, I will be into. Bungo, come after Bone, Parish. Okay, so that's going to be the end of that box because I need to leave space in it. Okay, so here's where it gets weird. So these books and some of these books are going to have to go in this box here, which means I'm going to have to take out the tail end of this box and stack it up down here. Also, look at this Boris Karloff Tales of Mysteries comic. That's a cool comic. I love these old creepy comics. I love the old Vault of Horror and stuff like that. I got a couple of them here. Tales of Mystery. And they're fun stories. They are like the Tales from the Crypt or the Twilight Zone comics. They all have to have that twist. You know what I'm saying? This here, let me tell you about this series here. This actually started being available through a comic retailer, but this was a Kickstarter that I supported back in the day and still continue the upcoming series. I'm going to do a YouTube video on Boston Metaphysical Society. Now, this is a book that is based around historical figures forming a kind of a secret society, if you will, like Alexander Graham Bell, Tesla. I'm trying to think of a few names here. But anyway, famous scientists from back in the day formed like a secret society, and this was all Kickstarter. I funded these books individually, and when you do that, yes, you do tend to pay a lot more of a strong premium price, but you're helping independent artists, and that is what it's all about when it comes to Kickstarter. Let me show you guys something. Where's it at? Oh, it's over here. This box right here is all Kickstarters that I support. All Kickstarters. Some really amazing stuff in there too. I'm going to do a video, I don't know if it'll be a live stream or something recorded for the channel, but I'm going to do a live video of all the Kickstarters I support and just the untapped talent and potential that's out there that is just, they're not being given a chance, so they have to make their own stuff, and sometimes it's better than the stuff that's actually out there. Weird Western Tales. Oh, you got a Boris Karloff today? That's pretty sick. Not to sidetrack you from sorting, but what are some other good Western cowboy type comics? I like the Sixth Gun. Okay, so you like the Sixth Gun. I suggest you collect, yes, Weird Western Tales is the one to go to because that's Jonah Hex mostly. What was it? All-Star Western? What was that new 52 series that had Jonah Hex? Was it, dang it, Western All-Star? Something like that? I might have them under my J's. Let's see here. Guyver. It's probably in this box right here. Let's see here. Because I don't file it under, yes, All-Star Western. I don't file it under the actual name itself. But this book right here, All-Star Western with Jonah Hex, top notch. It's done. It's written by Jimmy Palmiotti, who's known for doing a lot of Harley Quinn stuff. And this artist Moritat, his art style is so unique. And after this series ended, they went on to do a Spirit comic, like The Spirit, the guy with the mask, and they continued on with his artwork as well. And this got me into Jonah Hex, and I freaking love Jonah Hex so much. So this is definitely one to pick up. All-Star Western. And then you've got, so the Sixth Gun. I got you the first 3 volumes of Sixth Gun. There's still 3 volumes after that, plus like 4 mini-series that have been collected in the graphic novels. All-Star Western. I know there's a couple other ones. Oh, so it's not really a Western, but it is written by one of my favorite writers that I was talking about earlier, and that is Harrow County, and it's about a witch. It's about a witch who is killed in the way witches were killed back in the day, and then she's reincarnated, and the whole county is kind of haunted in a way because of the presence of the witch, if you will. But it's a limited series. When I say limited series, I mean it had a start and finish of like 30 issues or something like that. I know it can be found in graphic novel form, but yes, that is another fantastic one. They actually just started a new series that is Tales from Harrow County, which takes some of the familiar characters that were within the book and has their own little spin-off tales as well. I'm not too big into cowboy titles, but there are a load of the... Yeah, back in the Gold, Silver, and Bronze Ages, the Western tales were huge. They were a big commodity back then. The Kents was a good series, kind of cowboy leading the Civil War. That's absolutely right. Southern Kents, if you will. No, were they Southern? I think. I can't remember, but anyway, it's a retelling, if you will, of earlier. If Superman had landed in earlier times, and then we got in history about Superman's Earth parents. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I do remember that. That came out like a number of years ago. That might have been like 10 years ago that came out, so it's not super old. Okay, so Boris, Boston. Oh, that's right. I was getting ready to pull out this other box. Let me push this back. But also, Todd, when it comes to the All-Star Western books that I was telling you about, and also Weird Western Tales, which is where Jonah Hex started, you can also look for solo titled Jonah Hex books. Now, those can tend to be pretty dark because they used to be written by Vertigo for a while, which was kind of the modern day, which was the early version of what is now the Black Label for DC Comics, if you will, where they could get away with a lot more gratuitous stuff, blood and stuff like that, maybe actually killing people. Vertigo also did like the Sandman series by Neil Gaiman and stuff like that, so it was kind of like the non-superhero centric universe stuff with like other, peripheral sort of stuff that's out there. I think we're on both sides of the battle. Kent's was 1997. Time flies. Time does fly. Jeez, are you telling me that was 13 years? No, 23 years ago. 23 years ago that book came out. Wow. Okay. So this is done. This box is done and goes up on the shelf. I don't think you guys can see it. You guys are seeing up to right here. I have a shelf up here that this box has to go on. Yeah. Such tight space. I need to get some cardboard or something up on these shelves so that they slide easier on the grating. Okay, so at least for now we're on this shelf here that I don't have to struggle to get things off the shelf so much. I actually prefer the dark, versions of things, if you will. Maybe that's my attraction to supernatural westerns, like The Sixth Gun. And so, Todd, you haven't finished The Sixth Gun, but after that series was done, they actually continued it with a book that's set in the same series, takes place after the ending of Sixth Gun. and actually has familiar characters that you've already been introduced to. But I'll just stop there. It's characters you've been introduced to. Yeah. Anyway, okay. So I need to take out the tail end of this box to make room for the stuff on the floor. Put that in here. Oh, my Dr. Aphra books. The most underrated Star Wars character to date. I'm pretty thrilled that Disney Plus is talking about making a comic series for Dr. Aphra. Needs to be done. Think female Indiana Jones. Think female Harrison Ford, a mix between Indiana Jones and Han Solo. She's a smuggler, but technically an archaeologist. That's the word. She's a smuggler and archaeologist at the same time. But it's kind of a weird, silly spoof of almost a comedy, because one of the first things that she's stealing is technology for these two droids that were meant to be ultimate torture droids. Now, I want you to picture C-3PO with torture devices in his hands, and he refers to humans as meat sacks, and he just despises humans. And then you've got a little tiny droid. They call him BT. Shoot, what's his name? BT. I can't think of his name. But anyway, it's like evil version C-3PO and R2. Like, they hate humans and they are out to kill humans. But they keep Dr. Aphra alive because they have use for her at the time, so it's not worth killing her quite yet. Let's see here as I pull this out. Let's see if I can find out. Sorry for that buzzy noise. This is my phone ringing. I thought the table was creaking. Look at this Marvel premiere. First American comic book appearance of Doctor Who, the fourth Doctor. This came out back. It was definitely the 80s when the fourth Doctor was on PBS here in America. I don't know if any of you watched the Doctor on PBS, but that was definitely my first introduction to the Doctor. So the Dr. Aphra series takes place during the time between Star Wars Episode 4 and Episode 5, and her main contact was Darth Vader. And guess what? She screwed him over. And then, guess what? She had to spend a lot of time running after that. Now, one of the baddest characters that no one ever talks about, Black Chrysanthemum. That's that Wookiee's name. He's a black Wookiee with scars on him. And this dude, he actually took down Chewbacca, but he cheated. So I'm not saying he's more of a badass than Chewbacca, but, you know, he took him down as much as he could by himself. Let's see here. Oh, no, Gray Man, you are absolutely right. That's why on the cover it did say first American appearance of Doctor Who. Yeah, for sure. No, the Doctor Who weekly series was going on in like the 60s, I think, and that book came out in like the 80s. So, yeah. You're absolutely right about that. Alright, what else we got back here? Does everybody remember who was collecting back in the day? Remember these freaking Deathmate books? So, I have them all, I think I do, and never read them all. So you've got Deathmate, you've got the silver, and the marble blackish one, and then gold, and then blue. And I think that red was a variant as well of like a second printing, and then you've got this epilogue one, and then you've got this one right here. Like, dude, I don't even know what this is about. Back in the day when Valiant Comics was kind of like the Boom Comics of today, if you will. So, Let's see here. I don't have really many Deadpool comics. I just took out like 3. I think I have 3 Deadpool comics. Oh. I have this stuff in the middle of my Dr. Aphra stuff. That's weird. That must have just accidentally got put in the wrong spot, I'm assuming. Oh, no, this is Darth Vader 25, but I got it because it's a Dr. Aphra action figure variant. It was in line behind Darth Maul, so Darth Maul, Darth Vader, right? And this is actually... Oh, here they are. Here's our sadistic little robot twins, our little droid twins, if you will. Those little pieces of crap. They were the most despicable droids I had ever seen in a Star Wars comic. Let's see here. I know that didn't show up very well with the crinkling of the book. Let's see here. Let's see here. Can you see that now? That's those little buggers right there. Just jerks. And they're like darkly colored as well, obviously. I actually have a couple versions of Darth Vader number 3 because that is technically the first appearance of Dr. Aphra. So you gotta collect your favorites. Dr. Aphra number 1 Virgin variant, very cool. They'd be at home in Tatooine Cantina. They would. The hive of scum and villainy. Let's see here. Okay. We got. Look at this. I was for a long time. I was collecting these. For a long time, I was collecting these action figure variant covers. So here's the Darth Maul one. This is Darth Maul number 1 that came out a couple years ago. I really like... I'm hoping it pops up here. There's a specific artist that does these, and he was doing them for the Power Rangers comics for a while, too. So, okay, Darth Maul. Darkman. Who remembers that Sam Raimi amazing book? Or a movie, if you will. Darkman. Okay. So we're at Darth. Oh, these weren't in the wrong spot. It makes sense. Between Darth to Doctor, DC and Deadpool would be the proper spot. No, I wasn't losing my mind. Okay. So continue taking more of this out. The Dark Horse Conan series that came out in the very early 2000s, like 2002 or so, that was a really good book, and it was really well drawn. Kurt Busiek was writing it at the time, and his writing is top-notch, you have to admit. I think people, for some reason, have a qualm with Busiek. I don't know what he's done in the past or what characters he's destroyed for people, I don't know, but... early Liam Neeson, was he in Darkman? Admittedly, it's been so long since since I saw that movie. Admittedly, the Raimi movies that I tend to stick to are obviously, the obvious ones, Evil Dead. But what's the Gunslinger one? It was the Gunslinger one, and it had, what's his name, who played the Gladiator, and he was like the priest who used to be a gunman, and it had young Leonardo DiCaprio. What was, I can't think of the name of that movie, but I think that's an underrated movie. Alright, so this is the stuff I took out of the first box that's supposed to go in the front of this box. So now we're at the point where we can start alphabetizing the stuff in here, back in here. Does that make sense? The Quick and the Dead, yes. Quick and the Dead. I thought that movie was fantastic. Alright, BPRD. There's no way I only have one BPRD book. Do I have them? See, my alphabetizing again. Do I have them with Hellboy? I wonder if I have them with Hellboy. I don't know. I'll find out later. But I know I have more than 2 BPRD books. Let's see here. So, Brave and the Bold go before Bravest Warrior. I started collecting this and tailed off. I don't know why. 1, 2. I'm missing issue 3. I have 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. I think the artwork is what really grabbed me. The artwork was really well done. Yeah. Once again, that's one where I'm missing an issue. And then, Bubba Hotep. Yeah, here's some awesomeness right here. Bubba Hotep and the Cosmic Bloodsuckers, right? Why not? Last time I was putting stuff away, up there in the A's is Army of Darkness versus Bubba Hotep. So 2 Bruce Campbell characters next to each other. It was pretty awesome. I have a fair bit of the last Brave and the Bold, of the first Brave and the Bold series. Do you really? Wow, that's really cool. I bet you have some super key issues in that. There was a lot of good stuff in that first Brave and the Bold series. Alright, now we're in the BUs. So we got Buffy. I've got this Dynamic Forces exclusive that I got for $1. Got that for $1 at a resale shop, still unopened and everything like that. The red foil, that's back when that was hot shit back in the day. The red foil variant, super, with the photo cover, whatever, nobody cares. And then, okay, so Boom Comics took over 2 series that I thought were going to do something. They took over Buffy the Vampire Slayer and they took over Firefly. I got disenfranchised with the Buffy the Vampire Slayer stuff real fast. They did have cool covers. I like the cover artist on a lot of these. There's Xander, before he lost his eye, obviously. This is early on, I think it is. But there's some cool covers on this. They're still using the Sarah Michelle Gellar look as opposed to trying to make her look her, a little bit more comic book-ish, if you will. But I stopped just because it's doing what it should do, which is stay true to the source of that 90s TV show. But we've all seen that. And then they had like 2 seasons worth of comics after that. And we've seen it all. We don't need that continuation. Now they took over the Firefly series. And there's not a whole lot of stories out there for Firefly. Like there were, there was the Serenity series that had little multiple mini-series, and those were well done because, not the early ones, 100 to 200, and I'm trying to work my way down, but some I will never own most likely. Some of those are just ungodly priced, the Brave and the Bold ones. I get it. But back to the Firefly series, the Serenity series, it was written by Zach Whedon, who is Joss Whedon's brother, who worked on Firefly. And so he was doing a lot of the scripts for this, the Serenity comic book series, which was good. Well, he's not involved. None of the Whedons are involved in the new series by Boom. And the storyline is, I think that they're trying to become too sci-fi as opposed to make it a Western in space, which is what it is. They're moving too far into the sci-fi and not so much as we're smugglers out in the western frontier of space. So I'm carrying on because it is one of my favorites, and the one-shots have been solid. So there was a one-shot that told the origin of Saffron, or Christina Hendricks, Saffron, Yolanda, whatever you want to call her, whatever name she went by. told her origin story, and then there was a one shot that was Malcolm Reynolds' mother, who, if you don't know, is a dirty backwoods woman. If you just picture this little old lady with a shotgun out there doing wrongful things, that's Malcolm Reynolds' mom, and I thought that book was great. There's apparently a Wash book coming out, talking about his life and death and afterlife, basically, and I bet that'll be pretty good. I bet that'll be good. Of course, JLA is astronomical. I know that's beyond most people's reach. That's always, and that's one of those investment books that is always going to be going up in price. So it's like if you don't catch it now, you'll never catch up to it. But I don't have that sort of money to lay down on a book that's going to sit on a shelf or in a CGC capsule or something like that, just so I can do well with it. Say I put all that money into that thing right there, and it's not going to do anything, right? I could buy a couple cars with that much money. So we're getting into the Cable series. I actually have the first appearance of Cable. I thought I had it on my wall, but I do not. But yes, I have the orange cover of New Mutants 87 at a 8.0, I think it is. And then I actually have his first cameo appearance right here, New Mutants 86. But I have 87 around here somewhere. And here's my variant of Dr. Aphra #1 where it shows just the droids themselves. It's so glary in here. Now this one did that thing where it's tight, so it looks like a little air bubble on here, but there's not much you can really do about that. And then I plan on showing off some of my favorite CGC books at another point in time. Believe it or not, we actually have our own, Gretchen and I actually have our own signature series books. Ones that we signed and have the yellow label because it was those DC Comics adult coloring book covers. And CGC was doing a thing for a while that if you colored it and brought it in with your artist's disclaimer and they watch you sign it, then you get your own yellow label. So I don't think a lot of people took part in that, really, because you had to actually go to the facility. You couldn't mail it in. You had to go to the facility. And so that's why I'm lucky, because I'm like 20 minutes away from there. So got to go in, sign it, and then, Gretchen and I have our own. We have 2 each. So it's pretty cool. All right, so we got Cable, multiple Cable series. This is all Cable that I'm scrolling through from here to, it's Cable and X-Force back there. X-Force, Cable, and then we're getting into Captain America. So it's straight through here. All of that is my Cable. Up to the point where they had this awesome series going on. They were using the legacy numbers, number 155, and they ended it. They introduced the whole character that has been apparently haunting Cable his whole life that nobody ever freaking knew about, and was his name was Metis, I think, and was the reason for the whole legacy virus that took over Cable's body and stuff like that, and why he has the metal on him and stuff. And then they ended the series like they were told, hey, the series is ending it with the next episode or next issue, make it due, and they did, and that was the last we ever saw of any of that. They never brought it back up again. Now Cable's been resurrected as like a young kid. So it was just a waste of a storyline that was potentially going somewhere really good. Alright, so, and then the new series that came out, look at this Scotty Young cover. I love it because it is that crappy 90s Cable that Alex Ross hates. Just in Scotty Young form. I think it's freaking adorable. I would read a whole comic of Scotty Young drawing Cable like this. Oh no, no. Here it is. 159. Yeah, there it is. It's a sweet cover with him and his parents when he's a little boy. So those definitely need to go in that specific order. Six, 57, 58, 59. And then this is an earlier one. When Bishop was hunting down Cable. Remember that one? When Bishop was going through time, trying to kill Hope, hunting down Cable. Where is that series at? I know I have it. Maybe I put it out of order. And then there was that time when they tried to make Cable like a real soldier. They went from Cable to Soldier X, or X Soldier. I think it was Soldier X was the name of it. Where he was like basically being a Punisher, if you will. Didn't care for that so much. I think a lot of people didn't really care for that so much. Alright, then Cable and so Cable and Deadpool should go before Cable and X-Force, I think. Does anybody remember these Prophet and Cable crossovers where it was Maximum Press, which was owned by Liefeld at the time, and so it was two Liefeld created characters, like his two independently owned at the time characters. This is before Deadpool was such a hot commodity that he's trying to make new characters of the same concept. Like, look at these guys. These guys. Prophet is wearing the headpiece that I think Cable wore early on. Like, Liefeld definitely has a specific design, and you know what? He's reaping those benefits right now. All right, Cable. All right, Cable. Go from Cable. And then next up I have Captain Marvel. Alright. So I have like, well, okay, I can count them. Let's see here. Captain America comics that I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, counting the one that I told you about with the U.S. agent. That is in a different stack. 9 Captain America comics is all I have. And then Captain Marvel. Alright. I started collecting that new series that came out and just lost track. I guess I only have the first 3. But I was liking Connor's art. Amanda Connor, I like her artwork a lot of times. Now granted, Captain Marvel looks just like how Amanda Connor draws Power Girl. Just a different costume also. So, but I like the way she draws faces, if you will. Now I remember the character, but not them crossing over. I'm not a Liefeld fan in the slightest. So I do understand that Liefeld has made people mad in the past, for sure. Has really just thrown people off, like nobody really wants anything to do with Liefeld, and I get that. And the man can be full of himself, but we also have to admit that he was spot on when it came to what was going on at DC Comics. and why he refused to work with DC Comics, and now that has come to fruition. Like, DDO was making it a hostile workplace and was treating people unfairly, and Liefeld put that out there, and he has the biggest "I told you so" going on in comics right now. You know. Okay, Captain Phasma. Do I have that up here, or do I have that under Star Wars? It's probably under Star Wars. Some of these I put alphabetically, and then some of them I just put under Star Wars. So, but this is the first appearance of Captain Phasma in comics. This one right here. Not that it matters. She became another throwaway character like Boba Fett. Like, she died in such an anticlimactic way. You see her fall to her death, like Boba Fett, which I'm hoping we're going to find out isn't really his death, but fell to his death just like that. Fell to her death just like that. And I'm hoping she'll pop up again sometime in the future, because if you know anything about reading the Phasma book, she was such a badass that there's no way that would have taken her out like that. She would have had some sort of ulterior plan of getting out of a situation like that, for sure. But whatever. So, I'm gonna file him under Captain Phasma, and then when I get to him later on in Star Wars, I'll just move him up over here. Okay, now we've got Catwoman, which I think will tail on into. Oh wait. Oh, I don't have as many Catwoman in here because my wife has all of the rest of them in her long box in her room. Okay. But before we get to Conan, we can put in. See, this should be Web of Venom, right? But I'm putting it under Carnage Born. I always tend to go by the bigger name of the title, I suppose. Why did I get this? I think it was supposed to be a key at the time. It was supposed to be a hot commodity of some sort at the time. So, I don't know. Anyway, it's going in the box under Carnage. Before Catwoman, so Captain, and then Carnage. One series that I wish they had carried on doing DC Comics was these crossovers with the Looney Tunes characters. This is Catwoman and Tweety. There was Yosemite Sam and Jonah Hex, which is one of my favorites, actually. That's just hilarious. But see, Sylvester is around her neck. I think this is a freaking. I think this is a Darwin cover. Is this? Who did this cover? Let's see. Cover. Oh no, it was. No, I thought it was a Darwin Cook cover. It's almost his artwork, but not quite. Good old Darwin Cook. It's too bad he's not around anymore. He wasn't that old either, but from what I understand, it was cancer that took him away. I never heard about that, but I'm glad he never worked on DC. No, he did Hawk and Dove a time or two. That's right. He did their 1990s reboot of Hawk and Dove. I think for a while it was being touted that reboot of Hawk and Dove was like his first. Maybe it was his first DC stuff he did. Because I know it wasn't his first work. That was another thing I was going through and collecting for a while, is the artist's first works. And once I started doing that, people started recognizing, like, it's just coincidental that while I started finding these pieces that nobody was really paying attention to, they started becoming key items. That Key Collector app, while I do use the Key Collector app, it is just changing the way people collect books, and so I can't be sneaky about the way I collect things anymore. But whatever, it is what it is. It's all a stock market nowadays. Chewbacca, the Star Wars Chewbacca series. So, oh, I want to show you guys something that has always driven me nuts, and I've pointed it out to my wife, okay? When it comes to the medal that Luke and Han got at the end of the first movie, right? The medal that they got for destroying the Death Star, and Chewie didn't get his medal in the end. Well, Wookiees don't care about material items. So here's Chewie. Like, this little boy saved his life, okay, in this book. Here's Chewie rummaging around in his ship, and he pulls out this thing. This thing he gives as a kid to make the kid feel better. Chewie had the medal all along. He was probably like 8 feet too tall for Leia to put a medal on, but he always had his medal. And this is a canon book. This is Marvel doing Star Wars. This is a canon book. So, yeah. So Chewie always had the medal, but he gave it away because he doesn't care. And so at the end of Rise of Skywalker, spoilers, at the end of Rise of Skywalker, Chewie gets a medal, which I'm guessing might be Han. It might have been Han's. But they make it seem like Chewie finally gets his medal. But I think it's more of a, this is a medal that you earned along with a friend, and this is his medal. You know. Anyway, I'm ranting too much about Chewie getting the freaking medal, because he already had it. I don't really pay too much attention to Hawk and Dove. I don't really know what series they've had, and I know there's been a couple of different incarnations. But you know what is cool is I have the DC Universe subscription. It's like $7 a month, but they have cool live action shows on there. So they've got the Titans show, which has involved Hawk and Dove, and they're badass. Like the costumes, like these are the sort of costumes that I would like to see in the movies. Like the costumes are spot on to the comic book stuff. And between Titans, they got Doom Patrol, which I lost track of. I don't think there's going to be another series to that either, the second series. But the first series was actually pretty good. And Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing got canceled because people were not aware of how dark that one was going to end up being. It's more of a thriller than anything. And I don't, that's the sort of tone that the Swamp Thing environment and character kind of bring to the table, is kind of a supernatural thriller sort of engagement, and I don't think a lot of people really understood that. So I love Hawk and Dove despite Liefeld, not because of him. That's fair. Yeah. I don't know a whole lot about them, but the series, if you have a way of watching that series, if you don't want to pay for DC Universe, they got so much cool stuff on there. You can read comics and all sorts of stuff. They do a daily show as well where they're talking about what's going on in the DC universe and stuff. But if you can find a way to watch that Titans show, I strongly suggest that you watch that. I really do. That is an endorsement. Alright, so Chewbacca should go before Conan as well, right? Let's see here. Chamber of Chills. Chakra, Civil War, Clerks, and Conan. Alright, so it looks like Chewie's going to be the last thing that goes in this box. Alright, well, I've gone through 2 boxes and done like a third of this box right here. So, this isn't looking good. Oh, you're in the UK. I saw it on Netflix, though. No DC Universe app in the UK. DC Universe, they lost a lot of money? I don't know. I don't know that it's not taking off the way that people had anticipated that it should. And they didn't have it on the platforms that most people would use. My platforms of choice are my television, my Samsung television, and my PlayStation 4. Which before I had a smart television, I would have Netflix on my PlayStation. Well, those are the only two things that they're not available for. You can get it on Fire Stick, you can get it on Apple TV, you can get it on Android, all this sort of stuff. Can't get it on my Samsung TV, and I can't get it on my PlayStation 4. The only two things that it's not available for. So it kind of, I mean, obviously it makes me mad. Kind of makes me mad. It obviously makes me mad. Okay. Alright, so now then, this back up on this shelf. Alright. This is actually, I'm actually sad to change up this box because I know you can't see it. Let's see if the box is too heavy to bring to you. But this box, if you look in the hole itself, I don't know if you can actually see it. I'm gonna wait to see if it shows up on the camera. But you see the doctor's eyes peering out through the freaking hole. It's the angry eyes of Doctor Number 12. Nope, I had it too low, didn't I? It was the angry eyes of Doctor Number 12. All you could see was his angry brow poking out through the hole handle. But it's gonna have to change. He's gonna get bumped to the back. I can't believe there's 5 of you still watching me. What do you... You really must have nothing better going on. But I appreciate you hanging out with me. This is all stuff that I promised myself I was going to get done during quarantine. So as long as I'm not sitting here like talking to myself, you know, at least you guys are making it worth it to me to make myself do this. So thank you for watching. Okay. So now it's going to start getting to a point where I'm pulling out so much of the box that I'm going to have to get another box to put all of that pulled out stuff into, which is hypothetically the way I need it to go. But I have this stack that I pulled out of the last box. It's so big I can't even pick it up. I have a foot tall stack that I pulled out of the last box, pull out this much of the box. So now I have to pull out that much more to fit that stuff in here in the front, and then still take more out the back. It's like I needed a little leeway box for in between, and that's when it really starts getting confusing. Reading an old Hulk and reading an old Hulk and eating dinner. Right on. I guess it is. Well, if you're in the UK, it's what, like 10 o'clock there right now? 10 something? I appreciate you staying up and hanging out with me, man. Alright. Gate crashers. We're getting into some real old stuff back here. So, Gen X. Gen X and Gen 13 started coming out at the same time. Oh, here's some more of the Age of Apocalypse stuff that I was talking about earlier. Generation Next. I actually kind of liked that series, but I did not like the artwork. I can't remember. Crucky. Who is the artist in these books? I did not care for the artwork in this book. It was, granted, the grittiness of it kind of fit the style of the book. Let's see here. Oh, Bachalo and Lobdo. The cover art is it just seemed too ink heavy. So I think the inker Mark Buckingham is kind of what killed the artwork, because both Lobdell and Bucalo, I'm familiar with their stuff, and it's always been kind of classic. an inker can make or break a lot of serious artwork. And that's something I've been working on too, is inking. I've been doing live streams where I've been doing inking other people's pencils that they've posted online. Yeah. No work during virus. I understand that. There's a lot of people in that situation right now. I've been tending to stay up later than usual as well. I've got nothing going on during work time right now, really. So, I know the feels. Okay. Alright. So I moved all that out. Let me move this stuff back so that I can put in all the stuff that I took out of the last box. And then start figuring out how much more I need to take out of this box. I still need to take out more. I didn't take out enough. Alright. First wave. These classic lenticular covers, I like these. These are like one of the only flashes I actually have, just because of the lenticular covers. Okay, all right. I think I took out enough this time. I was collecting the 13th Doctor. I collected the first series of the 13th Doctor, which wasn't bad. Some interesting stories for sure. This is one of my favorites, actually. So, these two covers. Let me show you. These two covers right here. Who didn't love the freaking Doctor rolling in on a tank playing electric guitar? 2 Vikings. He was doing it. He was playing it 2 Vikings. He rolled into a Viking stadium on a tank playing electric guitar. And that's why I have this pop right here. This is the best. This is the best thing ever. Nothing says I'm the freaking Doctor like him pulling in 2 things from a completely different era in time and just blowing away the people of that, what is considered that modern era that he's in. But the whole series itself was good. Let's see here. Oh, 2 year. Oh, okay. So I think I collected. Okay. Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah. So I collected the first 2 years of the 12th Doctor. Did I say 12th Doctor? Yeah. 12th Doctor. And then mini-series that had the 12th Doctor in it. The 4 Doctors, which included 9, 10, 11, and 12. And actually, Chris Eccleston, he's like starting to acknowledge the fact again that he was the Doctor. I think he had a bad experience on Doctor Who and just was always denying it. Like, not denying that he was a Doctor, obviously, but denying any, like, want to have a connection to the series in general. And, I think he's finally come around. I think he's finally starting to notice that he has that fan base still there for him. That's thrash metal. In. And now I have more out of the back. So that's like almost the whole. I've taken out a solid, more than a third of this box to put over there. Like, jeez. And I really just need up here. Okay, so, alright, so starting out Free Comic Book Day, Civil War. Another crossover, like I talked about, that I didn't partake in. It didn't matter to me. But before Civil War, I have these Bronze Age Chippendale comics. Now, technically, this is Chippendale #1. But not their first appearance. Actually, I have their first appearance that I've been wanting to get pressed and graded. This oldie right here, this is actually their first appearance from 1947. It's one of my older ones. That doesn't get put in the box. But this, their first actual like #1 solo series was in like 1962 or something like that. And then I have subsequent ones. Now, if you were to ever look these up online and read these, they talked so very strangely. Like, they didn't use correct terms when referring to themselves. They would say me and him, or they would refer to myself as not I, but it would be like me am going to the store, or me do this. Not I am going to do this. It's me do this. You don't do that. And it would be like a mispronunciation of words as well. Gotta jump out. Time to strap on the mask and go to a beer run. Good to hang out with you. Yeah, see you, Slim. Sorry, you're probably already gone by now. Bye, Slim. I would sub, but YouTube's a bitch. Yeah, Slim is my best friend up in St. Louis. St. Louis, Missouri. Sounds like Super Baby. Yes, correct. Yes, you get it. You know, man. You know. And then I went through collecting the Chippendales Rescue Rangers original series. Now I have this. So this starts with issue 2, but I have this sealed thing from back in the day, collector's edition first issues by Disney, and it's all first issues that came out around the same time. And it says, congratulations, you are now the owner of a limited edition boxed collection of 6 #1 issues by Disney Comics dated June 1990. The 6 titles are Donald Duck Adventures, DuckTales, Chippendale Rescue Rangers, Roger Rabbit, Mickey Mouse, and Goofy Adventures. So, and it's still sealed in its original wrapping or whatever. But, so I have issue 1. And I guess I might get one just to complete the, readable series. But there's that. And then of the newer series that came out by Boom Studios in like 2010, this and like Darkwing Duck are hard to find, and they're not cheap. And I don't know what it was about the Disney run comics by Boom Studios from back then, but geez, man, who would have thought? Now these books, these ones from like the 90s, 1990, I got these for a couple bucks a piece, $2 a piece maybe, and they're in pretty good shape. Mostly, very good shape. Not really near mint, if you will. But the interesting thing is, some of these are actually direct editions, which means they were mailer editions. They came in the mail to people. You got the barcode ones, and you got the direct editions, which were part of a subscription service. They didn't need a barcode. It's always interesting to see those, and just sometimes wonder like how they made their way out in public. Now I am only missing 1 issue out of the entire series. I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. Issue 12 is the only one I'm missing out of the 18-issue run. So, and that's actually hard to find. Like, if you go on eBay, there might be one out there. But I'm not willing to spend. I think it was a low print run. I'm not willing to spend like $15 for it right now. So that's something that's going to have to wait. An Abbott and Costello comic. That's pretty sick. I love those old comics of that era. That is pretty sick. Was it one of the Gold Key ones, like Gold Key or Charlton Comics or something like that? That is pretty awesome. I dig that. All right. So I need to, in order to put in this Chippendale, I need to take out a bigger stack. I'm digging into my Exiles back here. I'm in the E's. In the E's. And then that'll be it for that box. Like, I'll put in these Chippendales, and then I don't think I have much room for anything else. Charlton, yeah, not sure of the year, not checked out, but I like them fellows, so I thought I'd pick it up. Yeah, who doesn't love Abbott and Costello? Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein is one of the best Halloween movies ever. Or was it Abbott and Costello Meet the Wolfman? I think they probably met a couple of them, right? Let's see here. Let's find out. Abbott and Costello meet. Oh, so they met. Okay, they met Frankenstein. They met the Mummy. They met almost all of them, right? 1949 film was Meet the Killer, Boris Karloff, and you got 51 was The Invisible Man. 55 was the Mummy. 48 was Frankenstein. They met them all. They met them all back in the day. That's funny. I didn't realize that though. I was always familiar with the basic ones that everybody references. Just check. December 1969. They met a lot of yeah. Apparently so. They met a lot of monsters. I have my window open over here. And my neighbors, I guess they can see inside here. They see. I think they see me talking to myself. They don't realize what is going on until they like walk by slowly, just kind of staring at me. It's like, mind your business. Mind your business. Get out of here. All right. This over. All right. This goes back on the shelf. We're only halfway through this box, man. Only halfway through this box. I have another half of a box on the floor. This is going to be a slow process. And so I still have 3 more boxes over there, so I'm guessing a majority of them are S's. Like, the whole box is probably nothing but Star Wars. I guarantee you. Only $1, I think I'm happy with. Only a what is it, a pound? Is that a pound? Only €1. I'm bad with the money system over there in the UK. Yeah, I am the nutty neighbor to them all the time because my wife has purple hair. I've got fancy mustache and colored glasses. They always look at us like we're the weirdos. There's a crazy guy that talks to his comic books. Yeah, well, I do talk to my comic books. That's a matter of fact. I do. Especially these, when they're going up on these shelves. I curse them out pretty bad most of the time. You mother. All right. So. What do we got in here now? I still have. What was the last letter in here? Exiles. I still had Cloak and Dagger and Cold Spots to throw in there, and I got G.I. Joes here. Dang, I jumped the gun too fast. I needed to take more out of that box still. I got distracted. It's alright. It's good for the biceps. Let's try this again. I wasn't done with this. Let's see here. For some reason, Gray Man, it keeps making me have to approve your comments. Like like when you said bye to Slim earlier, and when you made this one, I guess because of the Bible Belt or Burned as Witches, it's like maybe we're gonna moderate this, but whatever. So sorry if it doesn't pop up right away. I have to check it every so often. But no, I'm not in the Bible Belt. I'm in the deep south. I'm like so far south that I have to go back up north to be in the south. I'm in lower central Florida, if you will. Alright, so I have a Cloak and Dagger here. Issue 4 of a limited series. I don't even know why I have this. Oh, I thought Cloak and Dagger was going to do something for a while because it's on Hulu. The first series was okay, but that was a series that they did not give any direction on what people were supposed to be watching. Like, if you didn't know Cloak and Dagger, then you had no idea. Like, the trailers were so bad, they gave you no inkling of what the show was about. And I watched the first season, and yeah, it's okay, but it wasn't enough for me to go back, and I was surprised that there was a second season. So I didn't go back and watch the second season. Okay. Alright, so I gotta take out a little bit more, I guess, back here. And that Cloak and Dagger comic was like $4. Or no, it was like $1. It was $1. And so I was like, hey, if I can buy it for $1 and sell it for $4 at some point in time, then hey, cool, you know, I made my money on it. But America's Willie. Yes. Florida is America's Willie. You got that right, Gray Man. That's awesome. That is awesome. Here is another Cullen Bunn comic that I really enjoy, called Cold Spots. It's just kind of an eerie, supernatural sort of book about cold spots being like spirits who are there next to you, if you will. Not bad, not bad. Now here's my dude. Here's my guy right here. We got look at this. So we got Cosmic Ghost Rider. We've got Revenge of the Cosmic Ghost Rider. That's a badass cover. That is a badass cover right there. And then we've got Cosmic Ghost Rider Destroys Marvel History, where he was going through history and just screwing everything up. And it was to correct his own timeline to get back to a normal life, if you will. And yeah. So here's the thing. Here's Cosmic Ghost Rider fighting Punisher. Now, who knows why this is funny? Because they are the same person. That's right, Frank Castle is Cosmic Ghost Rider. He is the Punisher who went to hell, was resurrected by a deal with the devil, became a spirit of vengeance, the Ghost Rider, and then became a Herald of Galactus, which made him the Cosmic Ghost Rider. So, dude has been through some stuff, and he's got the wacky sort of Deadpool attitude now. Like he's literally lived to the end of the universe. When we see him, it's when Thanos, young Thanos, gets brought to the end of time, basically after King Thanos. Thanos' older, way older version of himself has killed everybody and destroyed everything in the universe. And it's just him and Cosmic Ghost Rider. And he did it as a deal because, Thanos is in love with death, the entity of death. And he killed everything as a present to death, to give as a gift. And the only thing that was left to give death was himself. Now, Cosmic Ghost Rider didn't matter because he was already dead. It didn't matter to kill Cosmic Ghost Rider. That's why he was still alive. And so King Thanos had Cosmic Ghost Rider go through time, pull young Thanos to the future so that young Thanos could kill old Thanos, King Thanos, and that way he could forever be with death. And that's a hell of a storyline spin. That was in the Thanos series. And then finally, after that, you finally get to see Cosmic Ghost Rider in his own series. Also, which is mostly about redemption. Trying to, he did some stuff. He did some stuff as a spirit of vengeance. And he had a lot of repentance to do. So after Conan goes Cosmic. Some people just give flowers. So the Ghost Rider movie is complete crap, but I love it at the same time because Nick Cage is so off the wall. I think I actually said this in my last live stream. Like I like the Ghost Rider movie with Nick Cage. The first one, the second one was complete trash. I fell asleep in the movie theater. But the first one with Nick Cage was so awesome because it was Nick Cage. And you use that as a descriptive manner. Like, what do you like about that movie? Well, it's just such a Nick Cage movie. And people know what you're talking about. And Ghost Rider, that Ghost Rider movie, is such a Nick Cage movie. And that's why people watch it. Well, it wasn't so it is a boring life, but he was trying to appease death because he's so in love with death. She's supposed to be like the most beautiful female, whatever, and he always wanted to marry death. So to gain her attention, because for the longest time she wouldn't even pay attention to him. So to gain his attention, he started killing people, and death started noticing that this person, this entity, is supplying a lot of death in general. And so he gained her attention, and he kept going, and then finally got to the point where she's ready to marry him. She shows up in a wedding dress. Only she's not quite ready to marry him because there's one thing that he hasn't given her yet, and that's himself. He had to get himself killed, and he can't kill himself. So he had to bring in a younger version of himself to go whoop his old man ass. And yep, I know it's a long way of going around things. Creepy. I've got this creepy book here by Harris Comics, Dark Horse Comics, book 1. Brereton, I can't ever remember his name, but he does some cool painting work as well. Crisis, so it goes before Crisis. Does everybody remember this time when Stan Lee started recreating the DC characters in the way he thought that they would be done? Some of it was done okay, and truthfully, a lot of it I did not like. Truthfully, a lot of it I hated. I really did. So, Cosmic Ghost Rider, Count Crowley. And this is another thing. I think this was a one-shot, and I wish they had done more of this. Cursed Comics Cavalcade. Cursed Comics was a thing back in the day, and this is an 80-page giant. But I think this is the only one that's out there, and I really enjoyed this. I wish they would do more of these. And I've got random ones like Curse of Brimstone, but it's a cool metallic cover. I think it was a Dark Knights metal crossover. Yeah. Okay, and now we are moving into the D's. Randy, I don't know if you remember, you bought me this for my birthday one year. You just showed up with it one day. It was really cool. Oh, who can forget the Amalgam Comics, the Wolverine Batman crossover, right? That's pretty cool. Amalgam Comics was a good concept, and I kind of wish they had supplied more stories from that. So this is a weird one. This is a Dark Horse Comics 25 years anniversary. I bought this for $1, and so you can see Hellboy's arm down there, but look at Usagi Yojimbo, like he looks possessed, man. That's some creepy stuff. Flaming Carrot, you got Concrete down here. I think that's supposed to be Abe Sapien. You got Ghost, Conan. Look at the Rocketeer helmet. That's a cool cover. Grendel, the Goon, Monkey Man and O'Brien. That's a cool cover. I picked this up for some reason. Why did I grab this book? Another one of those that I grabbed, and I know I grabbed it for a reason because it's so specific. Yeah. Sometimes comics make no sense. That's the perfect answer right there. Sometimes they just make no sense, man. That's just what it is. Dude, I gotta take out more. Hold on, maybe not. Maybe I'm almost done with the D's here. Dark Claw, but before Dark Claw, before Daredevil. Before Damned. Oh, Damned was a good book too. That's another one written by Colin Bunn. It's about guys who basically have to go into hell for they have to go into hell for a task, like a private agency sort of job that has to be done. I know, it's so off the wall. All right, so Daisy, and which one is this? This is Ill-Gotten #1. I think I've got I actually have the rest of the freaking series right here. Ill-Gotten #1, so we got the Damned, and then you had Damned, Ill-Gotten. Looks like I got two covers of that one. Okay, then and we got the Danger Girl. And then so then after Danger Girl, Army of Darkness crossover series. That was actually kind of fun. All right, then you get into Daredevil, but before Daredevil, I've got one of the new Joe Hill Black Label books, Daphne Byrne. Look at this Nosferatu back here. Look at this creepy. I love this cover so much. And this is why I've been into the Joe Hill comics lately. The Joe Hill Black Label stuff is spot on. Obviously, if you've not watched Lock and Key, you need to watch Lock and Key and understand that they took an entire 10-year span of that book and took all the key plot points and put it down into like the first season. So I'm curious to see where the second season's going because they left it kind of on a cliffhanger. But I'm curious to see where that goes. But if you watch Lock and Key and you like the concept of that, then you will enjoy his stuff. I actually just got done reading one of his compilations. I was listening to it on Audible, a bunch of stuff that he'd actually written with his dad, Stephen King. Stephen King is Joe Hill's dad. And he's a good writer in himself. Like, you can see where he got it. So I suggest picking up, if anything, pick up Basket Full of Heads on the Black Label by DC Comics. I know I've explained it before, but it involves a girl running for her life, comes across this axe that's on display in a house. Turns out it's a cursed Viking axe, and she takes the guy's head off with one swipe, and the head stays alive. And she kind of continues on this pattern for a little bit. So, check that book out for sure. Alright, so, Daphne Byrne. Have Me Burn, then Dark Arc. So I got to take out even more. I got how much D? I got so. I still got more Dr. Aphra and Domino back here. So this is going to be nothing but. There's no ease. There's no room for ease. I got to take out all these exiles. No exiles. I have the whole run of Exiles, the first whole run of Exiles, because, like I said, I love the dimension hopping, alternate reality of characters so much. And I was always bummed out when DC Comics decided to stop doing Elseworlds, because those had some of the most unique, some of the best, most unique writing for familiar characters. I've got this Edward Scissorhands series, which is pretty good. It was done by IDW Comics. It's not great, but it's a fun series. It's kind of a take on... It does a lot of flashbacks of his life, like before he got found by the humans, by the real people, if you will. So, it's an interesting book. Some interesting covers on it, too. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at some of these covers. Where are we at here? The Empty Man. Another Cullen Bunn book. That's a good one. Okay. Some of the art is actually pretty cool. Like, I actually like this cover right here, where he's in the barber situation. I like that cover a lot. The art style is really good. Then you've got some of these of him being solitary alone in the castle with some creepy creatures. So it's 1, 2, 3. And then I started getting into some of these wacky ones that kind of remind me of some Tim Burton style artwork. Like, I picture a lot of this, the style of artwork that Tim Burton would have done for a mock-up. You know, it's very Frankenweenie-ish or Nightmare Before Christmas style. Like this one especially. This one looks like it was drawn by the animators of Beetlejuice, which is obviously done based off of a Tim Burton property. So, let's see here. Does it? I had to approve the butt wiping statement, Gray Man. No, it does not show how he uses the restroom. Heading out, I got some chores I was avoiding done. Started. Thanks for the entertainment. You're welcome. Are you still doing the film adaptations? So I'm slowly collecting. I'm not collecting anything right now. Not collecting a single book right now, but when I have the ability to, I will be going back and collecting adaptations. See ya, Swanee. Yeah, so I will be going to go back and do film adaptations. As a matter of fact, I don't know if I showed this one yet. I know it's got to be at the back of this book. Yes. I love this. This is the Dracula movie that had Gary Oldman in it as Dracula. Like, there's Keanu Reeves down there. This is done by Mike Mignola, who does Hellboy. But this, I just have the first issue. But this adaptation was done by Topps. Does anybody remember when Topps used to make like comic book adaptations, like Jurassic Park? I actually have my Jurassic Park #1 by Topps, signed by Jeff Goldblum. I know it's here somewhere. Let's see here. I've got quite a few boxes of CGC books. It's in here. It's in here somewhere. Yeah, I can find it later, but yeah, that's one of my favorites actually. But yeah, Topps used to do like movie adaptations, like that was their property, and that's how they were trying to get into comics. But nobody really took them seriously because everybody was like, "You do comic books, like, or you do baseball cards." Oh, you got me one for my birthday? Sweet. Awesome. I'm looking forward to checking out whatever it might be. Okay, so we are in the DARs. We got Darth Vader here, but I got Daphne Byrne, Daredevil. I only have a couple Daredevil books. Not, I never really. I don't not like the character. I really love that Netflix series. The Netflix series was really good. I just never got invested in the character that much. And then Dark Art. And then the new Darth Vader series just started coming out. New Darth Vader. So here's Darth Vader with two Death Troopers. Like, they implemented, like, those characters have always been there, but the first time we ever saw those characters was in Rogue One, like 5 years ago. So, but they implement them like, hey, they've always been there, and I can appreciate the fact that they try to keep the canon together. Keep it all very fluid. Darth Maul. Darth Vader. Here we go. This is a Virgin cover. This is I think this is a Deadpool comic. But it's Gwenpool. I just like the art style on this. I don't collect Deadpool comics, but I got this Virgin cover. It's a straight up Virgin cover. It's not like the DC where it's like just minor text down here at the bottom with maybe a little barcode slip. No, it's a straight up Virgin cover. Now, also, these Virgin covers used to be special. It used to be something that was highly sought after. It was a super rare thing. It would cost like $60 at the comic shop. And now Marvel's out here just making Virgin covers like they're nothing, dropping the value on the collectability of those other ones. Oh, Randy's my brother. Yes. Randy's a good friend to have, but he's an even better brother to have. Let's see here. Here we go. Deadpool. I don't know. Just throw it in with Deadpool. I got this DC Comics Presents. Typically, I would probably put it under like Superman, but I'm just gonna put it under DC Comics Presents. It's Superman and the Joker, which is a rare combination. Like, you never really saw Superman face the Joker. Like, I just feel like Superman would take the opportunity and just crush the Joker. You know. All in the name of protecting the sanity of his best friend, Bruce. DC Presents. Put these in the wrong spot. No, I didn't. I gotta stop doing that to myself. Okay. Need to get my once list around my birthday time. You gotta look out for each other, man. You gotta buy. When you see the cool stuff, you just gotta grab it up. Just be like, I know my brother would love this. That's basically, we spend the whole year just accumulating stuff that we find just to give to each other, like around Christmas or a birthday or something. Usually it's at like comic shops and resale shops and stuff like that. So it's okay. New to me is always better than not having it at all, I guess, right? Alright. Die. I thought this comic series was going to do something. It didn't do anything. They made a big hoopla about that book, and it was all a sales tactic. And so the difference was on these books was, and I have two that say the exact same freaking thing, but there's text on here. These guys are covered in blood. It says mission accomplished, and the other guy going, I'd say so. But the text was different on the variant covers. Meh. So, as I was talking about earlier, the Boom Comics, in the 2010s when they were doing Chip and Dale and Darkwing Duck and stuff like that, and they were ungodly priced now, hard to get a hold of. Well, IDW started reprinting what's called Disney Afternoon Giant, where they took those stories and they reprinted them in these series. So, and they're fun to read. They really are fun to read. This is mostly Chip and Dale and Darkwing Duck, but there's some DuckTales in there. Like this cover here. That's just classic imagery. So they just bring back the nostalgia of my childhood for sure. All right, now we've got more Dr. Aphra, which is which is in the back here. I think the rest of this is actually probably Dr. Aphra. No, got some Doom Patrol, some Domino. There we go. Okay. Oh, here's another one of those Hill House comics, the Black Label ones, the Dollhouse Family. This is a pretty cool comic. So, this little girl inherits this dollhouse from her grandma. It's a 19th century dollhouse. She inherits from her grandma. And there are spirits within the dollhouse. And so the little girl, her outside family is not, there's a lot of abuse going on, there's a lot of drama within the family, a lot of turmoil in the household, but everything is so great when she's invited by the spirits in the dollhouse to come to the dollhouse. So she hangs out, basically has the complete opposite of what her family is, so nice and awesome. And eventually the spirits are like, we can make your outside life better, but you've got to strike a deal with us. And so as much as it turns out that how much awesome the interior of the dollhouse is, the exterior gets that much worse. Her real family situation really starts going downhill. So the spirits are at work, and it's a good comic. It's a good comic. Variant covers seem like a racket to me. So I'm a sucker for variant comics, and I am not going to deny that. I am a, you know what the ones that really get me the most, and I know they're all the way at the bottom down there, but the Ninja Turtles Power Rangers crossover that's going on right now. Per comic, there's like 4 different covers. So it's like the first comic focused around like the Red Ranger helmet, but it showed had a turtle holding it. Well, the variant covers had the other turtles holding it, and the bandana was a different color, and the hands were in a different position. And I bought them, okay? And then I went beyond that, because then there was a second print that showed Shredder holding a broken version of that helmet, right? And so I've been collecting them, and I've just been making a thing of it. I'm a sucker for them. They are a racket, and I completely get that, because it gets me to buy the same comic 4 to 5 times, but I want to collect the covers. And that's the collectible. That's that OCD that I was talking about, where I gotta have them all start to finish. Yeah, I did know Darkwing Duck and DuckTales are in different universes. Everyone thought they were in the same because of Launchpad, but they're in different universes. Yeah, the creator said that Darkwing Duck would be what DuckTales watches on television, and they actually clarified that in the new DuckTales series. All right, you ready for this? I don't know if I'm gonna bore you with this, but they clarified it. Okay, so. In the new cartoon, the new DuckTales cartoon, they're watching they're watching the new DuckTales cartoon. They're watching Darkwing Duck on television, and there's this actor, and he's playing Drake Mallard, and Drake Mallard's Darkwing Duck. Well, some stuff goes down, and the show gets canceled, but Launchpad tells this actor, the world needs Darkwing Duck. So the guy changes his name, okay, to Drake Mallard, and is now Darkwing Duck, and technically Launchpad is like his sidekick. And that's in the modern DuckTales universe. So technically they're in the same universe, but yes, it was separate universes. One that the other one was watching on television. It's really cool how that works out. Yes, I'm still alive. I'm still alive. As long as people are here talking to me, I shall maintain. I don't like that. I prefer them to be... See, so did I. I mean, that's what we grew up on. That's the sensibility. We grew up with them obviously being in the same universe, right? Because I feel like in the Darkwing cartoon, Launchpad would reference Mr. McD, like he would reference Scrooge, right? Am I wrong? Did that never happen? Is that one of those Mandela effects that just I made up on my own? I don't know, but at least they clarified it in the new series. In the new series, technically, Drake Mallard is Darkwing Duck in the same universe. Like a super fan. There you go. Yeah, so Launchpad was the super fan. Launchpad was the super fan that kept him going as Darkwing. Got him to change his freaking name, you know? Alright, so now we are back to Dr. Afra again. Same box that I emptied out everything else in. I took out I think it took out all of the E's. Like there's no E's in here. Straight through Doomsday Clock. Oh, Eclipso. Here's an old Darkwing or DuckTales comic. Eclipso. So I got this one came in like you remember those packs that Gray Man. I don't know if they had these packs at the what you call the petrol station, the gas station, but they had these 2 packs at the gas station, 3 packs maybe that were just like on the magazine counter, and they were like three comics for $1 or whatever, and this was one of them, and I grabbed it because the gem on the eye is an actual piece of plastic on the eye. That's the only reason I had this, and it's like a thick comic too. It's a special comic. It's a thick one, but I grabbed it because this is a concept that you just don't see. You don't see that anywhere. I should probably, you know what? I got a board over here. I should probably put a board in it. Let's do that. Let's treat it with some civility. We at least owe it that, right? For sticking around since when was this? 1992. Yeah. There we go. 28 years ago. 28 years ago I got this book. So you like Eclipso? Like I never got into him, and I know the concept of Eclipso, but I just feel like either the character was underutilized or just wasn't shown in the proper way, maybe? But it's a fascinating character. I totally get that. But there's a couple of characters like that were in DC Comics back in the day, especially like the Creeper. I always thought the Creeper was just like a rip-off Joker, but he's not. He's not a rip-off Joker. He's a completely different character. But I just feel like more could have been done with that character. Wave Rider, I think was big with the zero. What is it? Year zero. Shoot, what do they call that? The countdown. You know what I'm talking about? The DC Comics year zero stuff. I'm blanking, but you know what I'm talking about. So characters like that, I feel, get kind of underutilized. But in order to utilize them properly nowadays, they need to be put in extreme conditions. Like it needs to be revitalized in a way that's really going to catch. Because a lot of these characters were created for a specific purpose, and then they were kind of like sideline characters. But why do people love Booster Gold so much? I mean, that was one of the cheesiest characters, and then they started putting him in cool situations, and now people love Booster Gold. Armageddon 2000, there you go. Wave Rider, 0 Hour, that's what I was trying to think of, 0 Hour. Boom, but yes, Armageddon 2001. That was another one that he was utilized in, but you only see him in the time travel stuff. Like, why can't he just be a regular hero, you know? The series in the 90s, he was proper evil, killed a stack of heroes, including the Creeper. He killed the Creeper. So Eclipso killed the Creeper, okay. But it is in that era of 90s that I think you're right. That maybe it just wasn't fully on my radar because I was new to it then, the early 90s. You know, I would turn, in 1990, I turned 10. So it was from that point on that I really started trying to grasp all the stuff together at the same time. Let's see here. So Gray Man, while you're here, I want to point you to something. Mainframecomiccon.com. Okay, I don't know if you have Instagram, but if you do, follow our Instagram at marveloustng, but also my art Instagram at TV Artworks, TV Artworks, all one word. There's an online Comic-Con happening called Mainframe Comic-Con. Mainframe like a computer, mainframecomiccon.com, okay? And I'm one of the artists there that are going to be the virtual artist alley at the con, because I create artwork myself. So go there and check it out. I'm not saying support me solely. I'm just saying I want to let people know about this online Comic-Con that's happening here in about a week and a half or so, and that hopefully people will check it out. They've got some celebrities that are involved with it. There's going to be a lot of just like online streaming content sort of things, you know what I'm saying? I might do a live stream of doing some sketches or some ink work or something like that. So check it out, man. Like I would appreciate it if you checked it out. Yeah, Squirrel Girl, I honestly thought was going to be like possibly the next Deadpool or the next Harley Quinn. Like they were really trying to gear her up to be something, and that still might happen in the future because we saw what happened with Guardians of the Galaxy. I remember before the Guardians of the Galaxy movies came out, I was like, they're really gonna animate a freaking talking raccoon? That sounds stupid, right? But look at it now. I mean, I'm all about it now. So I would see Squirrel Girl in a movie or a TV show or something like that. I think that needs to be done. Mainframe. What was the other one, please? Mainframe Comic-Con. Mainframe Comic-Con. Oh, you want to know my Instagram? It is TV Artworks. TVARTWORKS. TV Artworks. That's my personal artwork Instagram. And then we've got our Marvelous TNG Instagram as well, where we post a lot of the stuff that's related to the YouTube channel, if you will. Yeah, I'm about Squirrel Girl. She's pretty cool, I think. I don't really know. She was in that West Coast Avengers, the revamped West Coast Avengers or something like that. Or what was it, Grand Rapids Avengers or some weird place like up in Michigan or something like that. I can't say I'm strongly familiar with her for sure. All right, let's put in the rest of these Dr. Afras and then maybe move on with this box. No, we can't, because I do need like another box. I need to like empty out a box to make room for all my overflow. Oh shoot, you know what? What do I have here? I have two of the D's here. So all of this stuff back here, I got it, guys. I got it figured out. Okay, all the overflow that I took off can now fit in back here. And I'll know that once I start getting to the E's that I'm in a box that needs to be what it is. Okay. We got this. We got this. I think we got this figured out. Thanks for sticking through. TNG or TMG? T and G. Marvelous T and G. But yeah, if you go to the mainframecomiccon.com, the actual website, I think you'll find some interesting stuff there. Like I said, some cool celebrities signed up. There's going to be, I think they actually have like stuff planned online throughout the day. And it's the whole weekend of the April 25th and 26th. So I think, especially if you got no work going on right now and you don't have a bedtime, you might be able to catch most of it, you know. I think it's cool you're watching from the UK, man. I really appreciate it. I know that you tune in on Dwayne's stuff every once in a while. I've seen you on his Wednesday morning stuff. So only one L too. I found it. Okay. Oh, only one L in Marvelous. Yes. But yeah, man, I appreciate you tuning in for sure. It looks like it might be just you and my brother now. That's all right. As much as people love watching people live stream, people just, I don't know, maybe people don't want to watch my comic book room. Maybe they think that I'm just like organizing comics. I'm not going to engage anybody. But you know, what's the point in virtually hanging out if you don't acknowledge the other people, right? Alright, looks like all my exiles are fitting here. That actually worked out really well. I had to empty out a box so that I could make room in the other box. But now I think this box is going to have to go up there so that I can fit these two boxes in here. I think that's what's going to have to happen. Oh, Dwayne is the comic book pusher, Comics Club Inc. Didn't I see you in there on his stuff before? Comics Club YouTube? Yeah, I should. Yeah, it's like this channel name. I should have clarified with that. I didn't think about it. Oh, yes, the unboxing videos. Thank you. We don't have. I'm looking down here at the computer. We don't have a lot of stuff that we can really go out and do right now. So unboxing videos might be kind of where it's at for a little while. Unboxing videos and just doing like live streams in order to kind of draw people into the content. You know what I'm saying? But we'll figure out something. Like I said, we're working our way to 300 people. We're at like, what are we at? 278? We at 278 now? Yeah, 278. So we're 22 people away, which is a bit of a haul. But as much as we've only been doing this for like 8 months now or something like that, I feel like we're doing okay. Compared to some people who like, you know, they're really getting up there in their subscriptions, but I have to wonder about those subscriptions because then they get like, you know, 80 people watching a video, but they got like 3,000 subs. Like, something is not right there. Something is not right there. You got 3,000 people subscribe to your channel, and you get 80 views. So, I'm going through my old comics mostly. I'm not sure. Going through your old comics, right on. What are some of your favorite old comics that you have? Like Randy, what are some of your favorite comics that you have? And then Gray Man, what is one of your prized comic possessions that you own? I'm curious about that. I'll show you mine in a minute, but yeah, I just want to see what you guys have. I'm pretty proud of mine, but people always like surprise me with some of the coolest stuff that they have. So I am definitely interested. Okay. And I know Randy's probably at work right now, so he probably can't, like, off the top of his head, maybe. I have 1,300 subs and only 40 views, LOL, and 2 on streams. Oh! Am I not? Let's see here. But, and I'm just saying, like, that many subs and that many views, like, something's wrong with the algorithm. There has to be something to be figured out there, right? Because I think people aren't pushing the socials enough. You got to push those social medias. We have 278 people, and we average in a week about 100 views on our new video in a week. Let's see here. Is that you? Is it you? That is you. I'm gonna sub to your channel. Boom, I just subbed to your channel. Spectre, Demon, Blue Beetle. I like to get runs. Runs are the best, yes. Flash, Yell. Lots of different series, really. My G.I. Joe #1. That is a cool find. G.I. Joe #1 is a cool find. I think people will sub for sub, but never watch your videos. I watch and comment and upload, but most don't comment back at all. Oh, see, that sucks. Like I try to comment on people who comment on my stuff, or at least like it and heart it, acknowledge that it's there. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're gonna take the time to actually watch my stuff and then take time to comment on it, the least I can do is sit there and acknowledge the fact that you did that. But yeah, a lot of people do sub for sub, and that's okay. That's fine. People have to build a community somehow, some way. Doctor Who, so I'm gonna go back past Doctor Who, past Doc Savage, to Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange Fate, another one of those amalgam comics. I should put a board on this. Doctor Strange Fate. I mean, with Doctor Fate and Doctor Strange all in one, right? That's pretty cool. Real Ghostbusters from the 80s. Yeah, that's a cool series. I wish we could find more. I know you're only like 2 or 3 away from like finishing that whole series. I wish we could find more of those. But those are not common to find online either, and especially not at a decent price. Doctor Strange, and then we put in Dollhouse Family. Dollhouse Family. And I think these D's are actually going to overflow into this box, making it an organized box. Look at that until I pull out the next one. That, probably going to have to pull more out of this to fit stuff in there, right? So we got Domino. This Domino series was actually good. That's a Greg Land cover right there. This one was pretty good, and then it led to that series called Hot Shots, which wasn't bad, but I was intrigued because they had a lot of Domino's past revealed into it. You know, the artwork really stood out very well, actually. So I was about that series. That was a good series. And it looks like Domino is going to be... Nope, I'm going to leave that gap because I know I got more Dr. Aphra coming that'll have to go in here. So this box is done. Booyah. So let's go to the beginning of... Okay. Dunzos. So I think what I'm going to have to do, good luck getting them made. I have 12-page one list. Like when I watch Twitch streamers, it will say like 100 watchers, about 4,000 views. I know. That is how it works. You gotta find that key time when people want to view your comment, and that's the tough part. So I think now this goes up on the top shelf, right? I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that. Or do I want to add another one to this row here? Maybe I want to do that, but let's scoot this way. I got these posters these Firefly posters. I really like the art design, but I got nowhere to go with them. I used to get this Firefly Loot Crate box, and then they just completely stopped one day. Loot Crate went downhill pretty fast. But I like these posters. I actually have 2 of them signed by the girl who played Kaylee and the girl who played River. So one day it would be an awesome hope to get them all signed, obviously, except for Ron Glass, who died, who played Shepherd Book. I'd like to have something by him signed at least. But I am far away from completing that collection. So I don't think I want to put all 5 up here on the top shelf because that seems to make it a little bit too top heavy, and I don't think I want to do that. I kind of want to put more of the weight towards the bottom for obvious reasons, right? Okay, so this one will go up here. I do that right? Yeah. Okay. And then once I scoot these over, this one here will fit in the middle there. That's how it'll work. This one's got to come down right now anyway. Let's see here. Just got here in time for the amalgam drop. Was not disappointed. I always wanted a Goonies comic series to continue the story. Is that Adam Hughes art? Oh, which cover was that? Adam Hughes art. Which one did I miss? Dang it. Let me know which one you were talking about, Gray Man. Or were you talking about the? Did you see my list you asked about? Did you see my list you asked about? The posters. No. Yeah, maybe. Maybe the posters are. It's if not, it's very Hughes-ish. It does look a lot like Hughes artwork for sure. But I don't think it actually says. I don't think it has a name. You know, a lot of these licensed properties don't actually acknowledge the artist that drew them. It's all about copyright, you know. Let's see here. Okay. Now then. So I don't have many G.I. Joes either, so I'm already in the G's. So what do I end up here in this box? Oh, the Generation. Okay. So I'm in line for the G's. I'm there for it. All the rest of these will fit in line in this box. And that, wow, that's like, does that make sense? I guess so. I guess I didn't have any like DOs to the DRs. And that box is that. So, oh wait, I got these here. Ah, yes, okay. Yeah, right. So I feel like I've seen the same stuff before as well. I think I've seen him draw the same sort of things as you have. I mean, as part of a reference. Like, I think I know what you're talking about. Doom Patrol. Doomsday. Did you read the Doomsday Clock series, Gray Man? I can't. I mean, people thought it was well done. I don't know. I was just kind of meh. It is, yeah. It is what it is. So I got DuckTales 1, 2, and 3 here. This is that same DuckTales that's in that sealed package that I showed you earlier. but these are somewhat hard to come across as well. And the thing about these is all three of them are direct editions. So these were all like in the mail, and they're all in really good shape. You know, because back in the day when you'd get these in the mail, they didn't bag and board them. They just threw a bunch of comics in an envelope and put them through the mail. So the fact that these showed up in the shape that they're in is actually pretty impressive. Okay, so I think we actually move on to the next box. Hold on, I'm getting too far ahead of myself because this is now the E box. This is now the box that the stuff from the next box will be getting filed into. You know, I got too far ahead of myself. So much with the transitions, man. Uh-oh. So now we get, this is the now file into box. And we pull out a fresh box. Alright. Let's see what we have here. Alright, so one of the last things that I had just put away was this Free Comic Book Day Donald Duck. And now I've got one of those 1990s Donald Duck comic books right here. So that'll go in there. So, once again, I'm going to have to start emptying out the back of this to make room for what's in here. Was not greatly impressed, and release was dragged out. So that was it too. It was dragged out. I stopped caring. It's 12 issues that they dragged out to every other month. So it took 2 years for it to come out. Like, I just stopped caring. And I almost feel like that happened with that last Dark Knight Returns series that came out, the Master Race. Sorry, I got this hair on my mustache. I feel like they had dragged that out for way too long as well. I had to go back, and after I got the whole series, I had to go back and reread the whole thing. I actually got the the hard case versions every couple months that came out, so that I could, when number 9 came out, it came with the slipcase, so that you could get the whole image of Batman to Robin to Superman, and then that. I mean, if you were to buy this solidly as a piece now, it's like $120 or something like that. But, you know, spread out over, what was it, like a year to get out 9 issues, or you know, like 15 months or something like that? That took forever. Now I can't get it back on my shelf because it just fits the frickin'... Come on. There we go. Dang. Never read that one. I thought the latest Crisis one sucked too. Heroes in Crisis was it? Yeah, I know those feels. I know those feels, man. Some more DuckTales. Oh, number 5. I got 1, 2, 3, and 5 then. Being from the UK, Gray Man, what do you think about Judge Dredd? I'm a big Judge Dredd fan. Not so much every character from like 2000 AD, but there's quite a few characters that I do enjoy. I actually kind of enjoyed the Dredd movie that came out. This is supposed to be a sequel. I only have the first issue to the sequel, but I didn't so much care for the costume design. You know, Sylvester Stallone's costume design in that Judge Dredd movie, I think was spot on. I think that looked like the way it needed to look. This one looks more realistic, I get that, but it didn't have the flair that draws people to that wildly designed character. He is the law. You're damn right he is the law. But I dig Judge Dredd. I really do. Edgar Allan Poe's Snifter of Terror, right? What an odd one. This was supposed to be one of those horror anthology ones that was coming out for a while that I just lost track of. I wanted to start collecting this just because it looks absurd. It just looks absurd. Judge Dredd, yeah, I think Judge Dredd is awesome too. Yeah, yeah. 2000 AD is super underrated in the United States. Like, it's only people in the know who know, if that makes sense. 2000 AD and Judge Dredd, like, UK comics in general don't do well over here. Doctor Who is not, I don't think, a big seller here. It's a very niche market, if you will, because of people who know about Doctor Who just in general. Like, BBC America made a big wave for a while, but nobody's really paying attention to the comic books. But Judge Dredd and Doctor Who, you know what I would read comics of is, oh my god, why can't I think of it? Help me out here, Gray Man. They're trapped on a spaceship. You got the robot named Crichton. You've got Cat, and he's a mutated cat. You've got the hologram, and then the one guy with the dreads. Why can't I? Something red. I'm so bad at this. I love how its title is most almost history sounding rather than futuristic name. Yeah, she's 2000 AD is so dated now, isn't it? Red Dwarf. There it is, Red Dwarf. I would like to read comics based around Red Dwarf, to tell you the truth. There it is. Yep, there it is. Yeah, well, I mean, people who get into Doctor Who and figure out what Doctor Who is, you automatically get sucked in. Like, you know, like, it's such an intriguing story. You get into the Doctor Who feel. And it's definitely a very specific feel, especially when you come across another Whovian and you can, like, communicate about what Doctor Who is in general. But anyway, back to Edgar Allan Poe's Snifter of Terror. I got to look up more of these because this was actually it was a pretty good book. It was pretty good. Log comment lag is real. Yeah, well, as I'm watching myself, getting your comments, it's like a solid 30-second delay for me watching myself. So I can only imagine how much of a lag you have. Alright, so even though I found all the space for these comics, now I know it's at that point where I got to take a large chunk out of the end to start putting in this stuff here. Okay. Probably not too much, though. Oh, no, I know what you meant. It is kind of a comment log, but LOL, yeah. Okay. Start taking out the Jews. Let's see how deep this box goes. This box goes to the K's, nope, to the L's. To the Labyrinth. Jim Henson's Labyrinth comics. So I think that actually ends up in this box here. The G's through the K's, I think, actually fit this whole box. So that might be the stopping point we're looking for if we don't hit a point before then. Because I've already been streaming for 2 hours, it says. All right. But I'm just gonna keep going. It doesn't matter. As you guys saw, my wife checks on me periodically in the stream, so she should actually be getting home somewhat soon. Okay. Fantastic Four. I don't have a lot of Fantastic Four books either. Here's one of those chromium covers, Fantastic Four 2099. Those chromium covers from back in the day, right? I don't have a lot of Fantastic Four books. As I was talking with my brother last night, I'm not a big Sue Storm fan. She's just a giant stick in the mud. I will have to pop off soon. I have a premiere of my daily blog going up soon. You do what you gotta do, man. I will definitely be checking out more of your content. I wasn't aware that you had a actual YouTube channel, so I will be checking it out, I promise. About 9 months ago, I actually bought quite a few of the Exiles books so that I could finish the series, the original Exiles run. So, and it was right around the time that they started up with a second series, which was very short-lived. As a matter of fact, it actually took Valkyrie from the Thor movie and made her like canon within the books because she's from another universe. She's from the movie universe, if you will. Here's her. Look at this. Here you got her riding a Pegasus. That's pretty awesome. And look at this little Wolverine. This little goofy Wolverine. He's from a happy universe where everybody's happy. That is just absurd. And see, this is what I'm talking about. Here's Peggy Carter as Captain America. Peggy Carter as Captain America. There's that happy little Wolverine. And then there's Blink. Looking like... Is that Blink? No. She looked like she has a Wolverine's claws, but she's got Blink's face tattoo, so I don't know. I can't remember who that was. But anyway, that was a fun read, but very short-lived. It might be the first time I saw a video from YouTube. Okay. Fair enough, man. Alright. So I think these are in numerical order, so they should fit in the series fairly well. Excuse me. Take a drink. Alright, so the series will... This new Exile series lasted 13 issues. 13 issues. No, wait. How do I have 12? Oh, 12 issues. This one was out of order. 12 issues. So it'll go in the back of the Exile series, and then we'll have to file these in independently. Let me put Edgar Allan Poe away first. He'll go after Eclipso and before Edward Scissorhands. So I'm amazed that we got through a whole box in just a couple hours, because last time I went through all the Batman stuff and it took me like a solid 3 hours to get through all that. So we're already starting on a second box just a couple hours in. Oh, it's been almost 3 hours, hasn't it? It's almost 6 o'clock here, so it's been almost 3 hours. Still. At least you guys are willing to sit here with me while I do such mundane things. Boom. Series complete. I'm stoked about that one. I just watched Labyrinth the other night, actually. It scared me as a kid. Yeah, it was scary. It was scary. Muppets, like Jim Henson's creatures in general. Watching, what was that one that they just created a new Netflix series about? That had the Skeksis, the little bird creatures. Dark Crystal. That's a horrifying movie. That is a horrifying movie. And creatures from the labyrinth, like the rock creature, stuff like that. Just if you don't understand what you're looking at as a child, then so watching Ghostbusters for the first time, 1984, 1985. I was in the movie theater, and the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man comes around the freaking building. I cried because that's a horrifying concept. That's a horrifying concept of this giant destroyer. You're aware that this thing is here to kill everybody, and he looks like the nicest guy in the world, and he's as tall as a building. But yet, when he makes that like smile on his face, like that evil smile, I cried. Drain your vital essence. Yes, David Bowie will drain your vital essence. Okay, so now we're into the Fantastic Four. True Believers. I got this True Believers. I don't know why I bought this one. I think it was because of the whole scroll thing. This what is it? Was this $1? Yeah, these True Believer dollar comics. I like the fact that they're doing these. I think Marvel and DC are aware of the fact that, you know, things like Key Collector are really hiking the prices up on things and really making things ineligible to be in the hands of collectors who want to collect for the art of collecting and not for the art of reselling. So they're starting to do these dollar issues, and it's fantastic. I love it. So let's see here. Fantastic Four. And to tell you the truth, I have these old ones just because I love the way these old ones look. Just the style of the artwork is so compared to nowadays is so basic. I mean, that is a traditional comic. And I think some of this had Jack Kirby art as well, which I don't have a lot of comics that actually have Jack Kirby art. I wish I did. Fathom. The only Fathom books I have were like from Dynamic Forces, or they came out with Wizard magazine. Great Man, did you have Wizard magazine in the UK? Was that a thing over there, or was that just in America? Wizard was the bomb back in the day. They used to have mailaways for these half comics. I don't know anything about Fathom. It's a shame about Michael Turner. You know, another guy who died way too young. Here's a series that I got. I think I got it on a super sale deal. I don't even know why I bought it. Fearless, an Image comic that I think people said was pretty cool but was underrated. I still never read it. And look, it's going in the box before I'll read it again. So Fight Club. Now there's like Fight Club 3 out there, I think, in book form, but it's written by Chuck Palahniuk, the guy who wrote Fight Club. So at least he's continuing his own story and it's not being left to the hands of somebody else. Yeah, Wizard magazine was where it was at. That was good stuff. Here's the Firefly series that I was talking about. So here's the one that explains Saffron or Yolinda or whatever other name she went by. Explains her origins. Christina Hendricks. That one shot, and then there was the outlaw Ma Reynolds. Look at the old lady with the shotgun. That's Malcolm Reynolds' mom. And she lives on a moon and she's an outlaw. And so you know where he gets it, right? But those two one-shots, are if you're a casual collector of Firefly, those are the only two that I would get. I've been collecting the series. And like I said, I think that this new series is going too far sci-fi and not enough space western. So take that for what it's worth. actually have a number. Here's that Armageddon 2001 that we were talking about with Wave Rider on the cover. This Flash comic. I don't have too many Flash comics. Let me see something here. So speaking of Flash comics, I wanted to show you this. So this comic here is Flash number 99, right? I have the artist proof from the printer with the different color layouts. This is what they would use at the printers to do the color layouts. This proof was used in making this comic. I have a couple of these. Some interior pages on some comics too. So this is kind of cool. I really love these. I found somebody who was working for DC Comics at a garage sale, no, flea market in Wentzville, Missouri, and she just had a box of them for like $10 a piece, and those things go for maybe $25 or something like that. So I snatched a couple of them up. It's just fun. It's just fun. He was in all the annuals. 1991. Is that when that Flash one was? Here, let me see if I can find another one here. Here's another one I have for you. Okay, this book right here. This book right here. I have all of the artist proof concept stuff. So here's the piece of paper for it with all of the key info at the bottom, and then they had two different versions. So you've got the color version here where the pages flip to different colors. They all flip to different colors. But then you've got the two samples for the direct edition for sale and then the UPC for sale. And then I guess they had two different... Oh yeah, they had two different versions up here as well. They had one with the date under the issue number and then one with the date next to the issue number. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I got a couple of those. I got some for some interior pages of Cable as well, and some Challengers of the Unknown, but they're not color. They're just like the acetates for the black and white inks. Yeah, that would make sense, right? 2001, they came out in 91. Yeah, 2001 was like so far away. It was like futuristic. It was like new millennia. It was mind-blowing. Flash Gordon. The 80s Flash Gordon movie is another one that sucks, but I love it so much. Like the movie, I think, was high concept for its time, and I don't know if they just underutilized the budget or whatever. But it's got early green screen, which is just fantastic. And when the Hawk people are actually flying, and it's, I don't know, it's cheesy, but it's good at the same time. Infinity Man and the Forever People. I don't know anything about Infinity Man and the Forever People. This is another group that I got these in a pack of comics of some sort. I didn't read Future's End. Okay, I know that a lot of these had like those sort of covers that were like image changing the God, just like the Flash cover I showed you earlier. But I don't know. I had never heard of Infinity Man and the Forever People. I had no idea what these characters are. Another group of something that pops up and you have no idea where it came from. And once again, I'm alphabetizing this by the big letters. The Forever People, big letters. You like the Flash movie compared to Star Wars? Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. Star Wars has always been my jam, but I love the Flash Gordon movie from the 80s. That's where it's at for me. Future Quest. Where's Future Quest? I think Future Quest is on the floor. Okay, so we've hit that point where I can start putting some of this stuff back in here. Okay. So this Future Quest series was actually pretty cool. It took those old Hanna-Barbera cartoons. And actually, yeah, it took those old Hanna-Barbera cartoons and then kind of spun them for modern age. I actually have one that that one was, the first issue of the series was actually part of that adult coloring book series. And I colored it and got it graded. I think I got it graded anyway. Maybe that's why I'm not familiar with it. Forever People sounds like a Kirby creation. It really does. That sounds like a name that he would have chose. So that makes sense. That makes sense. I'll accept it, whether it is a thing or not. So, another love of mine is Space Ghost. That's actually why I started collecting Future Quest, because finally a new Space Ghost series was part of it. So I love Space Ghost. Yeah, I think that's another underutilized character. There we go. All right, found the order in which it goes. Let's see here. I know that I got. Let's see here. Future Quest. Where's it at? It's probably in the box below. Of course, right? It's going to be in the bottom box I'm looking for. Oh, I found my Jurassic Park I was talking about earlier. My Topps Jurassic Park that I got signed by Jeff Goldblum. You remember we were talking about the Topps comics earlier? There's my Jurassic Park. There's Jeff Goldblum's scribble. He wasn't looking at me, really. He scribbled his name because the lady that was in line in front of me that was walking away had just had like massive cleavage, and that's all he was keeping his eyes on at that time. Wacky Races, yes. They revitalized that, I think, as well as some sort of post-apocalyptic future sort of thing along the line with a Scooby Apocalypse, which still blows my mind that it's actually a real thing. Scooby Apocalypse. I don't know. I'll have to do a stream where I show off the stuff that I have that I have CGC'd. I got a few boxes worth of stuff and some really cool stuff. As I don't know if you could, is it shown on the wall there? Yeah, that's the first appearance of He-Man in Marvel Comics, and then that is another one of those adult coloring book covers that I colored myself and got graded over there. And then I've got a couple over here. I've got the first 6th gun, and then I've got another room that has a bunch of like Star Wars stuff in it as well. So, well, it sounds like the wife is home. Hello?
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 Are you still streaming?
I am. People are still talking to me.
People want to talk to you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got a present in the mail.
We did.
Yeah. Hi, people.
It's a delay. You'll see how you looked in a second.
Anyway, so we got something from...
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
We will have to do an Instagram stream of this later.
All right, I will go put it away.
Okay.
Carry on.
All right. All right. So the wife is going to go do her thing, and we will continue on with ours. They say hello, wife. Yes. All right. Where was I? Future Quest. So this is all going to go back here. I have the complete series of that as well. And then this comic here was actually, remember we were talking about Catwoman and Tweety Bird earlier? This one was kind of underwhelming. Adam Strange and Future Quest. Now before the whole thing went down with distribution of comics stopping, Adam Strange had a new series that was coming out that was supposed to be, I think, more black labelish of the mature side. That's another character that I've never really been into. But if you ever watched the show Krypton that was on Sci-Fi, which Gray Man is also on DC Universe, like we were talking about before. First season of Krypton is on there, where Adam Strange goes back in time to Krypton before it's destroyed by Brainiac, and Doomsday pops up there, and a really cool Doomsday, like a really well done Doomsday, shows up in that series. It's interesting the way they kind of revamped the history of the Zod family and the L family. It's interesting stuff. Like 2 years ago, I say that Marvel Age, it's like it's $1 bin and passed on it. When I realized what it was, I went back and it was gone. Gotta run, my daily vid is premiering now. Okay, Gray Man, thanks for hanging out all this time. I really appreciate it. I will hit you up some way or another. I don't know if you followed the socials, the Instagrams, whatever, but I will follow you back and we'll stay in touch, okay? Thanks for hanging out. Alright. So, let's see here. So many shows, so hard to find them. I know. Unless you have streaming, unless you have all the streaming platforms nowadays, you're going to lose track of what you're looking for. So this box is done, and then we move on to the G's, which starts with G.I. Joe. But my first Green Arrow here. New format, interesting. Okay. So I think that since the wife is home, I finished filling out this box here. I think I'm going to call it quits for the day. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me today. We'll be doing this again soon. Oh. This box will be the next one to come down. So let me take this one down. This one comes down. This one goes up. This is the D's. The D through the G's. Whoop. Goes here. Oh no, the lid came off. There it goes. That goes there. This one will come up here, and this is where I will be starting next time. Probably put it on backwards, didn't I? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Okay. So there's that. Okay, that's where I am leaving it, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Now to talk to you later. Head to Panteras. Oh, I miss Panteras. Alright. Well, I will talk to you guys soon. We'll be doing more of this here again in the future, probably early next week. So maybe start a little bit later in the day. And I'll talk to you guys later.